The National Bank of Kazakhstan has refused to maintain the exchange rate at the same level. To prevent destabilization of the financial market and the economy as a whole, the bank will set a new corridor of fluctuations of tenge against the U.S. currency at 185 tenge per dollar plus or minus 3 tenge, said the chairman of the National Bank of the Republic. According to Kairat Kelembetov, the need to restore the external competitiveness of the tenge exchange rate, trade balance of Kazakhstan's economy, and the support of domestic producers requires changes in the monetary policy of the country's main financial institution. The National Bank of Kazakhstan has decided today to stop maintaining the tenge exchange rate at the same level starting February 11th, which yesterday was 156.6, as you remember. In this regard, we believe that the equilibrium rate of the tenge is a new exchange rate of about 185 tenge per dollar. I want to repeat that the new rate is 185 tenge per dollar. To avoid instability in the financial market, the National Bank set a fluctuation corridor of tenge against the US dollar at 185 tenge per dollar plus or minus 3 tenge. I also want to say that we will continue the policy of smoothing exchange rate from plummeting. This means that the National Bank has all the capabilities to maintain the new equilibrium rate of 185 tenge. According to Kairat Kelembetov, the decision to devalue the tenge was made on the basis of the analysis of the global microeconomic factors. The situation in all developing countries, particularly in the BRICS countries, generally indicates weakening of currencies of these countries in relation to the US dollar. Secondly, uncertainty remains regarding the exchange rate of the Russian ruble. As you remember, in 2013, its exchange rate weakened by 7%, and in January it also had a tendency to weaken. Thirdly, concerning the external payments position, despite the fact that the current transactions remain positive, in general there is an increase in imports. Fourth, there were high devaluation expectations in the country, which caused an increase in speculative operations. The National Bank was forced to regularly participate in the foreign exchange market. And fifthly, we created the conditions for reducing the inflation rate to 3 to 4% in the medium term. As for inflation, according to Kairat Kelembetov, no significant and sharp surges are expected. Of course, when such changes occur, people have a lot of questions. First of all, I want to say the National Bank, together with the government, will work to ensure that the inflation rate of 2014 remains at the range of 6 to 8%. We will try to prevent unreasonable increases in prices for main products. Secondly, we want to warn people, as some speculators might take advantage of the situation, as it always happens. They will use any information about the exchange rate, but citizens should trust the statements of the National Bank first of all. The long-term trend of the tenge exchange rate will be determined on the basis of the fundamental internal and external microeconomic factors, says the National Bank. The bank also introduced a limit of 2 tenge per dollar and 3 tenge per euro on the deviation of purchasing rates from the selling rate of the foreign currency through exchange offices on February 11th. Owners of these exchanges who would violate this norm will be deprived of their licenses, and their exchange offices will be closed. The National Bank promises to provide exchange offices with sufficient amount of foreign currency.